What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. See, you Buffaloes got that dub, man. Great game. Amazing game. Classic. That's probably going to go down into history. As you can see, I had some, had something going on, but I had to stop and make sure I did this video. Man, let's just jump right in and talk about it. You know how we do.
If this world were mine.
So the CU Buffaloes, man, got their win against Baylor, man. That was a tough game. I mean, and it looked like for a second that it wasn't going to happen. It looked like for a second it wasn't going to happen. But I must say, and I will say this, that some real football players stood up. You know what I'm saying? Some real football players stood up. First, I'm going to start with Shedeur. Shedeur did a great job. I don't know. He was locked in. He wasn't thinking about what was popping afterwards, what club. He wasn't thinking about none of that. You know what I'm saying? Not that he was anyway. I mean, I don't know, but I'm just saying you could tell he was locked in, focused on trying to do whatever it took, to get the ball down the field, to get the ball to his receivers, to make some plays. Now, there was times he was holding on to the ball, but again, he's trying to get the ball down the field, and I'm not making excuses for that. I'd rather see them, run quicker plays, for options. You know what I'm saying? Some quick slants, some quick outs, some hitch plays, some, quick wide receiver bubbles or screens, things like. I'd rather see them do some of those things to help loosen up the defense, but nonetheless, he's getting really good at being able to find his receivers down the field under serious duress. That's becoming something that he's mastering, and he did a great job in this game of doing that. We saw him taking shots right after he released the ball down the field and for completions. Shedeur did a great job. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and understate what Shedeur did in this game against Baylor. He stood up as a real football player. You know what I'm saying? Not as an Instagram star, nah, man, he did his thing. Shedeur did his thing. That leads us, before I get to Travis, though, I want to say that wide receiver, that core, they showed a little something. Wester, man, I told y'all, I love it when Wester is out there making plays. He reminds me, back in my day, number 10 we had, to get you hyped, that did all the talk, you know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, man, great job by Wester. I like to see him when he's involved in making plays. Shepard, you know what I'm saying? Remember I talked about that lack of focus here and there? We saw that. We saw that with Shepard, but I'm pretty sure he'll make up for that as the season goes on. But we saw some of that. Travis Hunter, before I even get to him, you know what I'm saying? The running game. Again, we saw a nice little running game. That offensive line is doing a good job creating holes. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, they're doing a really good job creating holes for the running game. It's up to that running back to be able to see the hole, to be able to have good vision, make the proper choices, read those blocks well. As we saw Welch a couple times make the wrong read, the absolute wrong read. We saw that a couple times, but we saw Gustav do a really good job making good reads. I said that before, and that's why I mentioned him before. I didn't mention Welch a lot. I just saw that Gustav is better, at reading the blocks a little better, you know what I'm saying, at understanding how to utilize his patience and get to where, his offensive line has allowed him to go. Gustav does a good job of that. We saw Dallin get in the game. We saw Dallin make some, it was some good personnel grouping that I thought they did. Pat Shermer, Coach Prime, I thought they had some really good personnel grouping. One play they had Dallin out there with Offerdahl, and they were kind of using Dallin as a receiving back, using Offerdahl. They did a really good job. And of course, you can swing down to him anyway if everybody's paying too much attention to Dallin coming out the backfield. But I thought that was some good personnel grouping. We saw the tight ends. We saw some really good plays with the tight ends, double tight ends, getting out there, making some plays. Again, that's what I said you have to do. You got to utilize your tight ends. We saw that a little more in this game. And again, you have to utilize them when your offensive line is struggling. It's fundamental, guys. It's football 101. It's really not that hard. You know what I'm saying? You really want to do that to help your offensive line, to help yourself, to help your team, right? Man, it was good. That defensive secondary, again, we saw some holes. And again, I'm going to mention the holes we saw in that offensive line. We did see some holes in that offensive line, some gaping holes in that offensive line. And hopefully they can correct those things. Again, remember I talked about we got to remember that they're young for the most part. So hopefully they can, get those things together. That defensive line, I thought, did a much better job. They did a really good job playing together. not getting out of position, not hurting each other because one is trying to be too aggressive or whatever. I thought they did a really good job of playing together and staying in tune. I mean, they could have. I thought they were getting worn down, man. At first, I was like, man, they getting worn down. It's going to be a problem, and they might have been. But you have somebody back there in that secondary named Travis Hunter, a pure dog, and we're going to get on Travis, a pure dog. I mean, there's not much you can say more about Travis Hunter that hasn't already been said. This kid is ridiculous out there with it. I mean, he's really like that for real, on a few levels. And yes, I'm talking about that play to end the game, to end overtime. I haven't even mentioned the Hail Mary throw, because the Hail Mary throw is one thing. Okay, Shedeur did a good job getting the ball down the field. He doesn't have the superior arm strength, but he did a great job of getting the ball down the field and being able to allow his receivers to make a play on the ball. Wester did an amazing job reading the flight of the ball, getting to where he needed to be. The defense didn't know what was going on, and he got there, made that catch, made that play. Again, that takes a lot to be able to do that. That takes some fortitude. We saw Shepard, miss his opportunity, but Wester made sure to take advantage of his opportunity. I mean, that's what you want to see for the Colorado Buffaloes. Even in a close game like this, you want to see who's going to make a play. Is the pressure too much? Who's going to make a play? You know what I mean? We saw McKinney I mentioned the holes in the defensive backfield. We saw McKinney on them DBs. McKinney I've never really been sold on him. I never really, everybody keep talking about how he's, right behind Travis Hunter and stuff. All right, show me something. Because I haven't really seen it, but again, when you got Travis out there, that kid, man, I mean, he's going to make plays. He's going to make a play on the ball in the air. And then we saw him all game long get himself in there to make tackles, put himself in there to make tackles, you know what I'm saying? Understanding how to use his body, making plays, wrapping up. Travis Hunter did an amazing job, and it led to that play at the end of overtime when he knocked the ball out. I mean, clear cut fumble. I mean, there's not much more you can say about that. I mean, that was just an amazing play by Travis Hunter. Great players make great plays. Simple as that. Great players make great plays, and that's what you want to see. Travis Hunter did that. The Colorado Buffaloes did that, and that rallied the team. Shedeur being focused, playing football. I mean, again, when you have your leaders focused on the game of football, who's not going to follow? Who's not going to follow? When you have your leaders focused on other things, on who's tweeting what, who's saying what on Instagram and all that, when you have your leaders focused on that, yeah, you miss me with that. When you're focused on football, who's not going to follow? You know what I'm saying? And they did a good job, man. They did a good job of taking lead. Speaking of Shedeur and Travis, and the rest of the guys followed, man. And that's what, again, not to be redundant, but that's what you want to see, even in this close game. All right, yeah, it's a close game now, y'all. Let's not sit here and act like it was a blowout or convincing win or whatever. Baylor is not a bad team at all. Obviously a better team than CSU. Baylor is not a bad team at all. They had their backup QB in there who made some good plays. They were already down their starter when they entered the game, but he made some plays. He had a good opportunity to make some plays, and he did that. Just wasn't enough. Wasn't enough. You know what I'm saying? Thankfully, you know what I'm saying? But get in the comment section. Let me know what you guys feel and how you guys feel about this win. Again, does it change anything for you? Again, I still think 6 games, y'all. Will it be more? It might be 7. But I still think 6 games. This was a tough game, and they did a great job of showing fortitude, making plays when necessary. They did a good job of that, despite some of the breakdowns. And that, again, they could have been like, all right, here we go again. And we've seen that before. They could have definitely did that and just fell apart and gave up, but they didn't. So that's what I'm building on. That's what I'm focused on. That's what I'm appreciative of is the fact that they went ahead and build on that, didn't fall apart. They executed, where they know they can. They just kept on going. Shedeur did a good job of just getting up and going again, getting up to fight again. And that's what you want to see, man. He didn't complain. I don't think he threw his offensive line under the bus after the game, right? I mean, I know they won, but nonetheless, he was touched. You know what I'm saying? But great win. You can't take that away. Hopefully they can correct some of those things, fill some of those holes, and play better, because they're going to need to play better to win some more games in this Big 12, y'all. Baylor is not, again, I'm not saying Baylor is not a bad team, but they're not one of the top teams right now in the Big 12. At least I don't think so. Now, if they are, then hey, that's good for CU. Then we on to something. But if they're not, then we got some things we really need to clean up, you know what I'm saying, as we get ready for next week. And more Big 12 play. We got to make sure we clean up some things because it's it's like that. You know what I'm saying? But let me know what you guys feel about it, man. We're going to get out of here. We're not going to spend a lot of time. So I thank you guys for watching. Thank you for joining me. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'm going to see you guys on that next one. All right.
If this world were mine,